Hello, welcome to Earth Engine tutorial episode 37. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Earth Engine and pydeck for 3D terrain visualization. Let's get started. So first, you need to go to my GitHub repo to download the notebook example. So it's under the examples folder, notebooks, number 37. And then you can click the raw button. Right click, save as. You can download this one to your, for example, downloads folder. Here, once you have the notebook example, you can activate your Conda Earth Engine environment, and then you just type Jupyter Notebook to launch the notebook on your browser. So click, and now we have the notebook. So you just click open the notebook. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you first how to use the 2D visualization, and then show you how to do 3D. So the 2D example is using the Gmap package. So if you have watched my other tutorial, you might be very familiar with this one. So for 2D, basically we're just using the Gmap to display Earth Engine data. So first you need to hit run button, or you hit control enter to execute the source code. So we already import the libraries, then we can import the Gmap. So we create an interactive map, and then from there we can add Earth Engine data. So in this case, we are going to use the USGS NED, so National Elevation Dataset, and we're going to use the elevation. So this is how we customize the visualization parameters, and then we add the data layers to the map. So let's take one. And as you can see from here, this is the DM. You can activate the inspector if you want to look at the, for example, elevation values. You can do this one, right? Okay, so this is just for traditional 2D visualization. And the focus of this tutorial is to do 3D visualization. So how can we do that? If you go to the examples in here, so we need several other packages. So the first one here is the pydeck, okay? And the other one is pydeck Earth Engine layers. So pydeck is actually a mapping framework for visualizing geospatial data. You can do that in 3D or 2D environment. And the pydeck Earth Engine layer is basically a connection. So in this way, you can add Earth Engine data layers in the pydeck framework. You can look at the documentation how to use, and here shows you some of the installation steps. You can create a new one, or you can install the packages to the existing Gmap environment if you already have a Gmap installed. And so keep that in mind, you need to enable the Jupyter Notebook extension, and make sure you use these two, otherwise you might not see the map. And this example, the 3D part, is adopted from the example here. You can click the link. So create this to the pydeck Earth Engine data layer developers. So let's jump right into it. How can we do 3D visualization? First of all, you need to import the libraries. So keep that in mind, this portion here does not use the Gmap package. Okay, so the Gmap is only for doing 2D. So for 3D, we're going to use the pydeck plotting engine. So we need the Earth Engine data there, and then we also need the pydeck Earth Engine data layers. In tutorial 20, let me go back to here. Previously, I had another tutorial, I think it's 29. So if you see from here, this one is for using pydeck to visualize Earth Engine data in 2D. Okay, so if you are interested in learning how to use this, you can watch my this tutorial. And so today we want to do 3D. For 3D, we need this one, Earth Engine terrain layers, because for 3D you need elevation. So we need to import the Earth Engine terrain layer. It comes from this package. Okay, once we import the libraries, then we need to initialize. Okay, so this is you need to use this one, this hit one. After that, we can add the image layer. So in this case here, when we're trying to visualize 3D, we need two layers. Okay, so the first layer is the image layer. The second one is the terrain, right? So because for 3D, you need to have elevation values. If the elevation comes from the terrain layer and the image. If you see from this example here, we use the same thing. Okay, we use the same data layers both for the terrain and the image. So for this one, it doesn't have to be the terrain, it can be other data sets. But for this simple example, I'm going to use the same thing. Okay, so basically we drape this image on top of the terrain, and so that you can have 3D effects. And this one, for example, here we use the USGS NED 10-meter resolution. So that for the terrain data set, you probably want to have a higher resolution, and this one is the highest one available for the US within the Earth Engine data catalog. So we use the 10-meter, and you can also try this one. So this one is global 30-meter resolution, but keep that in mind. The terrain, if you want to use this one for global scale, then you need to use both this one as the image and also as the terrain. So just to be keep that in mind. And so once we have these two layers, then we can customize, so visualize. So the visualization parameters will be applied to the first one. So basically the image layer is on top, the terrain layers is at the bottom. So we're going to apply this one to the top one, and then we can use the terrain to extrude the terrain in 3D. Okay. So once we have the image, we have the how we want to visualize the image, then we can create Earth Engine terrain layers. So if you see from this one, so this object class comes from the pydeck Earth Engine layers. Make sure you use this one. And there are a couple of parameters you can pass into. If you can click your mouse in here and then hit Shift Tab on your computer keyboard, you should be able to bring up the help documentation. So if you see from here, the first one is E object, and the second parameter is Earth terrain object, and the third one is visualization parameters. So if you see from here, like Earth Engine object, terrain object, visualization, you also need to pass in the ID, because in here we have multiple, when you have multiple data layers. Okay, so it's simple and easy. Create the Earth Engine data layer first, and then pass in these two layers, and tell the terrain layer how you want to visualize that, and that's it. Oh, terrain. Oh, we haven't execute this yet, so execute, and then execute this one. So now we have the layers ready, and once we have the Earth Engine layer, we can create the pydeck, okay, instance. So if you see from here, this is the free state. So it's basically how we want to initialize, how we want to look at the pydeck, the map. And we have the longitude, latitude, and the zoom level, and bearing, and also pitch. Okay, if you don't know what does this mean, again, Shift Tab on your keyboard to bring up this, right? So longitude, latitude, and zoom level, very similar to the G map. Okay, just the center location and how what the zoom level you want. And probably you want to look at this one, the pitch and the bearing. So the pitch is actually the angle relative to the map's plane. So with 0 being looking at directly at the map. Okay, so 0 means overhead. You might if you have 1, it's probably at the degree, how many degree relative to the map angle, and also the bearing, right, the relative to the true north. So if you see from this one here, negative 66 degree, and also the pitch is 60 degree relative to the true north. So this is basically how you want to initialize the map. Once you have this one, then you can pass in the parameters. So the pydeck, we're going to create a pydeck instance, and you can pass in multiple layers. For in this example, we just pass in the Earth Engine data layer. So it's come from here, the terrain layer, and the initial view state, right? So this is the one coming from here. Once you have the instance, we can call the show methods to show the map. Okay, So as you can see, it takes time, a few seconds to load, but this is what it looks like in the 3D environment. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, right? As you zoom in, you might see those like looks a bit blocky. Okay, so because this is 10 meter resolution, it's not like 1 meter or sub-meter resolution, so you might still see some of those kind of a blocky effects. And you can zoom out. Also, when you press Control on your keyboard and then move your mouse, you will be able to rotate. Okay, so this is the parameters, this one here, the pitch. Okay, so it depends on how you rotate. The relative to the two nodes is changing. Okay, I can zoom out. Again, you can drag your mouse up and down. So this one changes the bearing. Okay, so if you look at this one here, let me zoom out, and then rotate your mouse. Okay, and then if you try this one, so now this one bearing probably is just 0, looking right overhead from the sky. So if you change this one, right, negative, and then also maybe rotate. Okay, so we can zoom in, for example, to any location you like, and then we can take a look at this like in 3D. So these are all the river channels. Okay, so these are mountains and others. Okay, so this is a simple tutorial shows you how to visualize terrain data in a 3D environment using pydeck and pydeck Earth Engine data layers. So compared to the 2D, this one gives you a little bit more visualization impacts that you can use if you want to view things in the 3D environment. Okay, that's all for this tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel. Hope to see you in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.